Well, this is still Undauted News Briefing. This report is about the colonial fake promises as it continues. Now, according to reports emanating from Mini-Menfo yesterday, we see the Colonial Ministry of Public Works in the Cameroons purportedly transferring the sum of 500 billion Franc CFA to what they call Southwest Region, which is Atlantic and Forest Zone of Ambazonia that consists of Boya, Victoria, Kumba, Tiko, Muyuka, Mamfe, and they are all in the southern Cameroons, and also Kribi, which is in La Republique du Cameroon. Well, according to the report, the said amount will be used to rehabilitate the regional roads, and we were also made to understand that a sum of 200 billion francs CFA will be used to rehabilitate the mayor's office in Wabene. Now the question is, why such a huge sum to rehabilitate an office when the people lack food and basic necessities? In addition to the maintenance of the Muyuka-Mutangana road, well, we had a sum of 300 billion francs CFA allocated for it. How can a government spend 40% of its allocated budget rehabilitating an office when the bulk of the project is on the field? This is merely a political move and statement, and is only geared towards deceiving and confusing the people only because they are preparing for the next elections in 2025. The promises on the road have been long overdue. From the internal roads to the ring roads, all promises have failed woefully, only because the President Bia's regime do not have the interest of the people at heart, and so they turn promises to privileges in order to deceive, confuse, and manipulate the people. They know how important the road is to the people. They know the people desire for better life, yet they use this to rigmarole in order to buy time for them to carry out their agenda. If you check clearly, no roads, no power, no life, inflation is on the rise. Fuel scarcity is even crippling the economy, yet a government makes so much noise with mere road construction. What a country! Would the construction even take place? Oh well. If we reflect on the words of the President Bia's speech for his achievements in 2023, he used several untruths to justify the options taken by his colonial government. We also discovered that they are mere words in a basket. Let me refresh your minds a bit. In his presentation, the President Bia talked about the consumption support measures implemented by the government, making it possible to control inflation and stabilize it at around 6.7%. An addition that you already know contrasts with reality. According to the note on the evolution of final household consumption prices in the Cameroons in November 2023, published by the National Institute of Statistics INS, an average over the last 12 months, the inflation rate has risen at 7.5%. This is an indicator that represents more than double the limit of the 3% threshold set by CIMAC, which is the Cameroons, Congo, Gabon, Chad, and Equatorial Guinea in its multilateral surveillance system. Adding to the document, inflation rates in the Cameroons remain above 7% in 9 of the country's 10 regions, with the highest recorded in Batwa at 8.7%. I beg your pardon. Bamenda, the regional capital of the northern zone of Ambazonia, has the lowest rate at 6.1%, but this is also above the community standard. Now, concerning the subsidy devoted to petroleum products in 2022, Paul Biya gave figures out of sync with those of the Colonial Ministry of Finance. Now, last year, the colonial government was required to slightly increase fuel prices at the pump, which has ended up crippling the economy and financially making life miserable and unbearable for the average Cameroonians. We mentioned in the survey we conducted last week that the subsidy of petroleum products, which was more than 100 billion francs CFA in 2022, was reduced to around 640 billion francs CFAs in 2023, which was also indicated by the ruler of La République du Cameroon in his speech, a figure of 100 billion unknown to the services of the Colonial Ministry of Finance. Well, according to the Director General of the Budget at the Colonial Ministry of Finance, Cyril Edoualo, the subsidy for fuel consumption, super, diesel, and kerosene during the year 2022 represented nearly 700 billion francs CFA. The words on your mind are as shocked as mine, but truth be told, rulership of the colonial regime is only bent on making life difficult for the people. If not, how come the millions and billions are not churned and directed to meaningful projects that can benefit the people as well as making life better for them? A completely false statement outside the Central African Republic, where the price of gasoline has increased since January 3rd, 2023 to 1,300 francs CFA, that of oil. Now, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the price of a liter of gasoline at the pump increased from 595 francs CFA to 625 francs CFA, and that of diesel from 475 francs CFA to 500 francs CFA. In Gabon, before the drop in the price of petroleum products announced by General Oligui Nguema in his speech to the nation, the liter of super was set at 605 francs CFA, that of diesel at 508 francs CFA, and oil at 450 francs CFA. Finally, President Paul Biya made a statement contrary to the reality on the ground. Approximately 44,000 solar panels covering 40% of electricity needs in the regions have been installed. Is that true? Well, the reality on ground is even funny. He made a statement contrary to the reality on ground, and we all know that that is not true. Well, we'll continue to implore the people of Ambazonia to stand still and believe and hope on the government of President Sako to do the needful and hopefully push their way through to Boya.